Thanks, everybody, and welcome to the latest VOLTTRON office hours. We will start off the meeting with discussing the new VOLTTRON 8 release candidate, and then we didn't have a set agenda after that, so we'll kind of open it up. There was a couple other notes that we wanted to make, and let's take it from there. So, looks like we're getting more people coming on. With that, I will turn it over to Shwetha.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Jeremy. Let me share my screen so that I can show the release notes. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
So with this release candidate, we are introducing several new features. The first one is the automated deployment of VOLTTRON using recipes. Ben LaRoque and Craig both worked on this feature, and Ben gave a presentation few office hours ago, I mean, probably a couple of months ago, on this new feature. And since then, we've added some documentation around it and made some further improvements, and we are trying to test it out in our campus, PNNL campus over here. So whatever findings we are finding with that test, with that deployment has been incorporated and will continue to do so. So please use this new feature and let us know how it's going for you. It has its own, the code related to that is in its own separate repository. It's mentioned in the release notes, and if you guys have trouble, just shoot us an email and we can provide the URL again. We also have a link in our VOLTTRON read the docs to the documentation related to the recipes, and it can be found here. And there's a handy link here which gives you the complete documentation. The other new feature that we have added is a new simulation integration framework that allows you to integrate with several simulation platforms out there. As an example, we have provided integration implementation for Helix, GridAppsD, and Energy Plus. Energy Plus was already Energy Plus agent is already in use by the PNNL folks here. We just tidied it up a little bit and incorporated that into the integration framework that we built, that was built by the core team. We spent significant amount of time in refactoring the documentation. Read the docs looks different now. Please provide us feedback on the format of the on the new format, and let us know if this is easy to browse and if it covers all the things that are required. Having said that, it's a work in progress. There are several things that still needs to be updated, and we'll continue to do that till the full 8.0 release. Any feedback here will be definitely helpful, and we can incorporate that as well. So a new health service was also added, which aggregates the health of all the agents connected to VOLTTRON instance. We already had a health service, health subsystem, which would report the health of the agents. And we have a VOLTTRON health command that basically lists out the health of all the agent of interest. But the way it was doing it was doing an RPC call to every agent to get the status. And this, if you had several agents connected to the platform, then it would mean that many RPC calls, which would definitely slow down the control command, and it was difficult for us to get the full status. This has been improved, and we have introduced a new health service which will asynchronously get the health of all the agents connected to the platform. And with a single RPC call, you can get the status of all the agents if you need, or the agent of interest. And this health service can be used by other agents in the future to get the health of any agent, any peer. Um, we did some work in the with the VOLTTRON Docker file to make it compatible with VOLTTRON 7. And in case you guys didn't know the repository, it's under the VOLTTRON nation, and it's VOLTTRON Docker. So that the Docker image has been made VOLTTRON 7 version compatible. The base market and the market service agent has been updated to Python 3. This is heavily used by VOLTTRON application team here, and they were maintaining a different code base that has been integrated with the main VOLTTRON code base, VOLTTRON core code base, and it's updated to Python 3. We have added unit tests and one first level of integration test for testing different types of databases supported by the historian framework. This will reduce the complexity that we have in PyTests, which were all integration tests, and it was difficult to maintain that, and it was slowing things down. So we have split it in such a way that we have introduced unit tests that will robustly test all the features of the database supported by the historian framework, and then I am going to introduce only a few integration tests that will test the connectivity with the VOLTTRON platform and the agent itself and things like that. Mark did a fabulous job in this, and this has been introduced into VOLTTRON RC release. There was a data duplication error reported by Andrew a few months ago. We have worked on that and provided a fix for that. We have added a new feature which will allow which will enable us to list out all the RPC functions exposed by a particular agent, or all the RPC functions supported by all the agents. This has been included as part of VOLTTRON control tool. So you just have to say VOLTTRON control RPC, and then let's give the UUID of the agent, and it will give the list of all the RPCs exposed by that agent. And also it will give a doc string on how to use that particular RPC function or RPC method. As an extension of this, we are working on dynamically adding capabilities such that you can introduce new RPC, or you can expose new RPC methods. This is a feature that is still in design phase and will be introduced in full release of 8.0. The last thing that we did is added new test cases for VOLTTRON Central. in 7.0 full release, we updated VC to Python 3. We added test cases, or we tested the full feature of VC in this release candidate. There are a couple of known issues that we will work on now and will be part of full release. RabbitMQ VOLTTRON is running into some issues when we try to run it in Ubuntu 20.04. We constantly get SSL error when VOLTTRON agents attempt to connect to the server. Looking at it and try to provide a fix in the full release. There is a compatibility issue when an instance running on VOLTTRON 6 attempts to forward data to VOLTTRON 7. We provided a quick fix for this and thought that it was already fixed, but it looks like if you run it in different architectures, the fix is not complete. They're still running into issues. So we'll look into it a little deeper and try to provide a full fix. So these are the set of issues and features that are part of 8.2 RC. Please try it out and let us know how this works for your environment, and any feedback will help us in making a robust 8.2 full release. That's all I've got.
All right.
Any questions?
All right. Well, thanks, Shweta. So yeah, definitely try it out when you can and let us know any feedback that you have, especially the new features, the recipes and the simulation and everything else. We put those features into the platform, and we really want to get feedback on their use by the community so that we can continue development in the direction that's needed. And we can have some presentations on those again in the future, just to remind anybody or help anybody get started with it if they need it.
Oh, one last thing that I forgot to mention. We've been working on video tutorials. The first one of this is the historian tutorial. It was not completed, and we want to have a very good tutorial as the first template tutorial. So it'll be introduced shortly.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and also with that, let us know what topics people are interested in hearing about or getting tutorials on, and that'll help guide us with that. Okay. Let's see. One other item that I wanted to bring up here is that we had done an office hour presentation on ecobee, on the ecobee agent back in March, and things with that agent have changed since then, and so that video was out of date and causing some confusion. Is anybody on the call today one of the people who were seeing the old version and having problems with that?
Hello, yeah, it's me, Robin.
Ah.
Hello, hi, everyone. So I was trying to connect the ecobee thermostat to the VOLTTRON platform, and so I got some issues related to the authentication. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay. Let's see, James, any quick advice on ecobee authentication? Otherwise, I think we can make this a topic for a future office hours or
So
email exchange.
So as I was going with the documentation for the ecobee driver on the VOLTTRON doc, and ideally after configuring the driver and registry, when I start the master driver, it should be providing me 4-digit PIN on the VOLTTRON log, right?
Yeah, that's accurate. So to kind of summarize the changes, previously the Ecobee driver was relying on the installation of an agent for handling request caching, which is no longer the case. It now stands alone. So the configuration changes essentially boil down to not having to install that agent, and then after that, a lot of the the remaining configuration has to do with handling auth. So if you have your API key and application key in your configuration, you'll start up the master driver as normal. It should provide you with a 4-digit PIN, which you then have to validate using the remote Ecobee API, their web UI, and at that point you should have no problem with data collection. And I've done this recently, so if you guys have questions, I'm happy to talk to you or set up a meeting. But hopefully, overall, the configuration should actually be a bit easier than previously.
Yeah, I was following the normal procedure, and when I started master driver normally, ideally it should be providing me some kind of 4-digit PIN on the VOLTTRON log, which I'm not seeing on my window.
Okay. If you would like, Rabindra, we could set up a meeting to go over that and talk about what you're seeing and what the behavior should be.
Yep, that'd be perfect for me. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, thanks. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Let's see. Other item I wanted to start a conversation around, and we can either have it here or over email, but due to the COVID situation, we didn't do a users meeting last year. We'd like to try and do something remote this year, and just kind of wanted to get an idea from folks. Idea on a format. Would people want like an all-day meeting, or would it be better to have maybe several focused small ones throughout the course of the year? What potential topics? I think presenting the platform is good, but then I think especially presenting how people are using it, the applications, the deployments of the platform, and giving people a chance to see what others are doing with it, and bringing up possibilities of collaboration and ideas on how to use the platform. So I guess I'll just throw that out there, and I'll also ask the questions on the mailing list for response. But I guess, does anybody have any comments on a remote user meeting at this time? Any comments? Okay. Well,
Sam DeLay, I'd just like a couple of back-to-back afternoons, with the East Coast, West Coast, if it starts around 11 or 12 East time and goes to about 4, that's probably about all you could stand.
Yeah.
About 3 or 4 hours and a couple of days, that would help.
Okay. Yeah, doing it remote is less than ideal because it doesn't give people a chance to just kind of get together and mingle and chat. But then it does allow potentially more people to show up, because we can do that sort of thing. Make it find a good time that hits most time zones, and then obviously no one has to fly anywhere. So okay, so thanks for that feedback. That's something that we will keep in mind. Any other ideas or comments on that? All right. Well, if there's nothing now, like I said, I'll send out an email on the mailing list. I'm definitely looking forward to engaging with folks on what format that might take, and also people who'd be interested in presenting at the user meeting, because I think that those are the most interesting and important presentations are by the people using the platform. All right, so with that, I'll open up the floor. Are there any questions or comments or research that other people on the call would like to discuss? Hearing none, then I think we can call this a meeting. Thanks everybody for calling in. If you have topics that you would like either the development team to discuss or run through examples of, or if you have topics that you would like to present, please email us at volttron@pnnl.gov, and we can put you on the agenda. All right, thanks everybody. See you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.